Right, well here we go. I'm going to hash through my screenshots on the AI's helpful analysis of Siddhartha. I'll read it and then I'll start to jump. In Hermann Hesse's novel Siddhartha, Govinda and Siddhartha represent two fundamentally different approaches to spiritual awakening. While they both begin as Brahmin sons and wandering ascetics, their paths diverse over how wisdom is attained. Well, that's learning and teaching, isn't it? Which is my preoccupation today. Okay, key differences in their paths. Follower versus seeker. Govinda is primarily a follower who seeks enlightenment through established doctrines and teachers. In contrast, Siddhartha is a self-reliant seeker who believes hang on a minute. Yes, I've sort of refound it. Their key philosophical differences. Self-reliance versus dependency. Siddhartha believes that true wisdom cannot be taught by others and must be found through individual experience. Govinda is a shadow or follower or who consistently seeks out external authority and formal doctrines to guide him. Next sort of subheading is direct experience versus formal teaching. Siddhartha abandons traditional religious structures to experience the world's extremes, from extreme asceticism with the samanas to material indulgence in the city. You know, he has an affair, a love, a wife, I guess. Govinda remains within the safety of established religious orders, eventually becoming a devout monk under Gautama Buddha. So Govinda is Siddhartha's friend from the beginning, and he takes the traditional Gautama Buddha way, following the Buddha, whereas Siddhartha is the maverick. He's out there on his own, experiencing firsthand, if you like, the hard way. Another subheading here, the nature of truth. Siddhartha views truth as something that can only be lived, asserting that knowledge can be communicated, but not wisdom. Interesting distinction between knowledge and wisdom there, isn't it? Govinda, on the other hand, believes that truth is a destination found by following the correct set of rules and instructions provided by a master. Okay, and there's a thing on comparison of their journeys. Siddhartha, his primary role is the independent seeker, whereas Govinda is the devout follower, the shadow, which is what we've said, isn't it? Path to enlightenment, Siddhartha through self-reflection and nature, Govinda through external ritual, teachers and doctrines. Path of religion, you see, but Siddhartha's not taking that path. He's taking the world's experience, which is our lot in general, I might point out. The secular person does this. He says, I'm not interested in your authority. I've seen that. I have to find out for myself. Siddhartha is an interest in, this is not AI, this is Marshall, of course. It's an interesting example, Siddhartha, of secularity in a strange way. A spiritual secularity, which perhaps Marshall has found his way into as well, in rejecting gurus at least. Attitude toward teachers. Well, obviously, Siddhartha's skeptical. He rejects even the Buddha's teachings. Not that he says the Buddha's wrong, but that's not the way to come. It's the way the Buddha is, but it's not Siddhartha's way. Whereas Govinda, his friend, it's respectful and eager to find a mentor, a priest, a teacher, a guru. And the final realization, Siddhartha is achieved through the river and his own life. In other words, relating to natural phenomena, the world. The world is his teacher, if he's only got eyes to see, in a sense, isn't it? Whereas Govinda, it's achieved through an act of grace. From Siddhartha in the story. It's actually in the story of Siddhartha he comes to his friend's rescue in, if you like, later life. That in some sense Govinda has found that it's not successful following a guru, and it's the grace of Siddhartha coming to his rescue and in some sense showing him the effective path. Well, that's the author's inclination and message, I guess. Let's look at this heading here. It says, their final encounter. At the end of the novel, that's where we are now, they meet again by the river. While Siddhartha has reached enlightenment through his own varied life experiences, Govinda is still searching. And this is the early concern of Siddhartha, isn't it, if you think about it? That we go on forever following these confounded teachers. They're not getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere. This isn't it. These practices are not getting us there. And I would like to say from a Jesus point of view, you see that God has got it right. It's not religion that gets you there. It's being in God's world. He gets you there. It's not this relationship to a guru at all. It's a relationship to God you need, in fact, from the Jesus story point of view, to see God as your heavenly dad. Right, this is not the AI, but you know what I'm about, don't you? Govinda only achieves his own moment of transcendence when Siddhartha asks him to kiss his forehead. Yeah, I thought that was very strange, but still, it's all meaningful, I guess. Allowing Govinda to see the unity of all things through Siddhartha's enlightened vision. That gets you back to, if not a guru, a sort of intervening angel, isn't it, with miraculous powers. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, that's what the AI's come up with, which is quite interesting. And then it says, are you focusing on specific chapters in the journey? And, well, I came on with another one. Let me pause there then for a second at least. Well, going back into AI, it comes up with this for me. I love the way AI talks to you. Look at this. I'd love to help you dive deeper into that specific part of the story to make sure I'm focusing on the right detail. Which of these meetings are you looking at? and it suggests their initial departure, or the initial departure rather, yeah, that's right, of the two of them from home, I suppose. Or we could look at the parting ways when Govinda stays with the Buddha and Siddhartha moves on alone. Or we could look at the final reunion by the river, where Siddhartha has become the ferryman. Well, there's no need for me to analyse all three of those, is there? I mean, it might be helpful, I don't know. Might consider it some later time, but you can do that yourself, can't you? Just call up AI and say, consider one of these three options: initial departure or parting of the ways, or the final reunion of Govinda and Siddhartha in the story of Siddhartha. And let God be your teacher, eh? Wow. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.